A very good morning and welcome to yet another edition of the YES101's Visual Radio. For the Newsfirst team, I'm Jad Abdeen. We start off with a look at your headlines.
Newsfirst headline.
In headlines, shooting incident at Ratmalana Railway Yard. G24 urges timely debt reduction measures for Sri Lanka. Israel confirms death of heir apparent to slain Hezbollah leader. And in sports, Santner named New Zealand's interim captain for Sri Lanka White Ball Tour. And now to those news and stories in detail. Starting off in your top story, a shooting had taken place early this morning at the Ratmalana Railway Yard in Mount Lavinia. Now, according to police reports, 5 suspects attempted to steal property from the railway yard and assaulted the railway security officers. During the altercation, one of the suspects was injured by a gunshot fired by a railway security officer. Additionally, one of the security officers was injured in the attack by the suspects. The injured suspect and the security officer have been admitted to the Colombo Hospital for treatment. The remaining suspects fled the scene and are currently at large. Now, still in local news, the G24 says that Sri Lanka has made significant progress over the past 2 years. Now, Dr. Yabo Marsha, director of the G24, speaking to reporters at the IMF and World Bank Group annual meetings in Washington, D.C., called for the establishment of frameworks that allow middle-income countries to negotiate with their creditors similar to the existing common framework for low-income countries. We now cross over to an excerpt of Dr. Ayabo Marsha, director of the G24, on what she had to comment on the matter.
Thank you. I'm going to go online with the question I just received from Sofiq Farsan, Newsfirst, Sri Lanka. Sri Lanka, a member of G24, is currently making attempts to emerge out of economic crisis. What can you tell us about the G24 position to support countries like Sri Lanka and also for the island nation to secure financial facilities at reasonable condition? Mr. Chair, and maybe Ayabo? Yeah.
Yes. I would say that Sri Lanka has come a long way from where it was 2 years ago. The last IMF Article 4 assessment does show that growth is picking up. The fiscal buffers are coming up, and also import duties are rising. So that indicates that the country is making some recovery. As for the position that the G24 takes on this issue, the way it affects Sri Lanka most is on the debt sustainability issue. And so what we are calling for is that countries, especially middle-income countries, should also have a framework, a forum where they can negotiate with their debtors. As it is now, the common framework only works for low-income countries. Only low-income countries are part of the common framework. But middle-income countries can be part of another forum called the Global Sovereign Debt Resolution Roundtable, which is not really an association, an organization that delivers any form of debt relief. It just fosters common understanding. So that's what we're calling for. We want very timely, very comprehensive reduction in debt for countries, and also for both middle and low-income countries to qualify. So that is where I see it working out. If things work out and the discussion in that area picks up quite fastly, then we could see the likes of Sri Lanka and maybe even Lebanon and a few other countries benefiting from that. Thank you.
And up next is international news.
International news.
In news overseas, Israel confirmed it had killed Hashem Safieddine, the heir apparent to late Hezbollah leader Hassan Nasrallah, who was killed last month in an Israeli attack targeting the Iran-backed Lebanese militant group. The military said Safieddine was killed in a strike carried out 3 weeks ago in Beirut's southern suburbs, its first confirmation of his death, while early this month Israel said he had probably been eliminated. There was no immediate response from Hezbollah to Israel's statement that it had killed Safieddine. And up next is your update on sports.
Sports news.
And shifting your attention towards sports, it is cricket. Mitchell Santner has been named New Zealand's interim captain for the upcoming white ball tour of Sri Lanka. New Zealand cricket confirmed, while Santner will lead a 15-man squad that includes maiden call-ups to bowling all-rounder Nathan Smith and wicket-keeper batter Mitchell Hay to face Sri Lanka in 2 T20s and 3 ODIs next month. Now, New Zealand cricket also confirmed that a decision on the team's long-term ODI and T20 captain will be taken later in the summer. And with that, of course, we wrap up this morning edition of the YES101's Visual Radio. For the Newsfirst team, I've been Gerard Abdin. Thank you for watching. Have a nice day.